All right. This is the WMB show, and I am your host, Isaiah Israel. And tonight is a very special night to me because I'm able to really focus in on the topic of race and how unimportantly important it is. Because tonight we're going to be looking at some pictures and talking about some people who are actually black but passed for white and did and made some really great strides and contributions to the American economy and nation. So, with that being said, I really want to focus in on the more important things: life, living, learning, laughing. These are the more four important things that people need to do before it's over with. Because you only have one life to live and one opportunity to make a difference. And to me, a life less lived is a life lived in sin. It's not the fact that we all die, it's the fact that we allow people or even ourselves to be convinced or convince ourselves that we will never be about anything, that we can never achieve anything. And that is not true. Everything on God's green earth is possible. You have to believe it, you have to know it, you have to know it, and you have to believe it. That is what faith is. Faith doesn't make things easier or easy. It just makes it possible. And with all of that being said, you have to let go of a lot of anchors of negativity that are just weighing you down. And this is what this show is about, the WMB show. And the channel of our YouTube is WMB of Lies and Deceit, focusing in on positive people doing positive things and making a positive difference. So with that, here we go, and this is our intro to the show. So let's get at it. Okay. Well, I don't know what's going on with that buffering, but hey, we're gonna. It's still kind of messing up. I don't know what the heck is going on with that. I call YouTube. I call my friends. I call that. They help me with this. This is too much, man. It is something that I'm not doing right, or I'm not doing wrong, or I'm doing wrong, or something that help me. But we'll get it done. And as far as the streaming goes, that is still a problem. I don't know what the heck is going on with that. I reinserted the streaming key for YouTube and all of that, and it's still not allowing me to do it. But we'll get to it, and you'll be able to see my face on here. But I like this kind of performance because I'm not able. It's not necessary to keep my eye on everything. I'm just one person keeping an eye on all of the audio, video. And eventually we're gonna do interviews. I got to keep an eye on all of that, so it's less of a problem. But be it as it may, we are here. This is the 21st of May, 2019, and I just wanted to, reassert the overall arcing um, um, purpose of our show is to bringing truth to the light and putting it on its proper throne of authority over the lives of history, the lives of politics, the lives of economic and social and spiritual warfare that is going on in America. Because you got to realize that America is our home. Now, I don't know if you are not in America, you can always go back to whatever country you came from. But those who are there, we have to really stand up and fight back and make this the people's revolution. It has to work from the bottom up, not the top down, because the top 1% are just comfortable in doing what the hell they want to do when they want to do it, how they want to do it. And we already seen that after the 1866 Civil Rights Act that was passed, that was for everyone, not just for black people, because white people were the slaves in America and black people were the prisoners of war. And that's the reason why the Tripolitan War took place. But be it as it may, white men took it upon themselves once they got into positions of power, that greed for power, that thirst for power, led to laws that benefited them and put black people and brown people at an economic and political disadvantage. That led to manifest destiny, and you know how the whole thing went. So everything west of the Appalachian Mountains were taken under the color of law, which means I'm white and I say so law, which doesn't have any ounce of authority at all, based on the fact that the 1866 Act says so. It is like a shotgun in the face of all of these idiots that perpetuate the lie of 1966 or 64 Civil Rights Act and the FHA Act, which has no validity at all. And you know, I was talking to a friend of mine who's an attorney, and I'm going to be working with her, Melanie of the Elite Group .com. Really nice lady. She came to the Dominican Republic to start a business with her girlfriend, and you know the whole nine. And she was in accord with what I was saying about the 1866 Civil Rights Act. It wasn't just for black people, it was for everyone, putting everyone on an even level playing field. And so, with all of that being said, you know, all of what has happened has been a con job, blowing smoke up our asses, uh, and formed in the formation of the NAACP and the Civil Rights Group, and the death of Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King, and you know, board education. All of that shit wasn't even necessary. Those people died and were stabbed and shot and seriously injured for nothing. Now it really bothers me to, you know, uh, think about this. That for 150 years we already had our rights. We the people hold the truth to be self-evident that all men are created equal and given the opportunity or given life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Blah 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 blah. You know the script. And uh, you know all of these laws that were passed, federally speaking, statewide, and on a state level, went against the law of the land, the 1866 Civil Rights Act. That led to a lot of laws under the color of law, which I have stated, means I am white, you must wait on me, and I say so law. It has no force and effect at all. They're bullshitting, they bullshitted before, they're bullshitting now, they're going to be bullshitting in the future. White men don't run anything but their mouth in America. In order to shut them up, you just need to put that shotgun of 1866 Civil Rights Act in their faces, and that's it. It covers everything: voting rights, civil rights, mama rights, daddy rights. I don't give a damn what it is, kind of right. It is covered under the 1866 Civil Rights Act. Not 1964, 1966, 1968 with the FHA Act, and the fight for civil rights in 1966 that Martin Luther King Jr. died for nothing over means absolutely nothing. They've been blowing smoke up our asses because if you don't know, how are you going to do better? And this is not some big secret. It's a well covered secret, but it's well known. It's not covered up and not out there and people are not talking about it. But people are either ignorant of it and thinking that all of the rights for black people or people in general is covered under the Civil Rights Act of 1966 and the FHA Act of 1968 is bullshit. I'm just calling it like it is and calling it onto the carpet of justice. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. They know it's bullshit. They blowing smoke up our asses, and they behind that curtain and throwing out images that look fierce. But when you pull back the curtain, you find this little ass little wizard trying to look big and sound big, but she isn't. Period. Slap him in the face with that shotgun of justice, that shotgun of the 1866 Civil Rights Act. Period. There's no need for anything else. It's covered for everyone. And, I really, 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 really don't have any respect for any of these people who are lawyers and who are, what do you call it, civil rights experts. If they don't, if they don't talk about this and they don't bring it to the forefront, and if they don't put people on the front burner and burn their asses with it and put this shotgun in their faces, what good is their law degree? It's like toilet paper. They might as well just go and wipe their asses with it because it is of no effect at all. And I'm just, really, really, really pissed off with the Black Caucus, Black civil rights groups, and Black leaders, and white leaders, so-called white people who perhaps know. And even if they do know, they're just as culpable as the people who don't know, and they should know. This is not some great secret um, that I discovered, or that I'm talking about. It is well known fact, and all of this civil rights and waiting on white folks to give us something is totally unnecessary. White folks' hands were tied since 1866, damn it, and they can't do a shit about it other than bringing up the color of law laws, which means I'm white and I say so long. You just gotta wait on me. Fuck you. I mean, seriously. Fuck you. Take a straw, stick it in your own ass, and drink the creamy brown shit out that motherfucker. Bill O'Reilly, Laura Ingram, Tommy Lauren. And I'm sure you're not going to have me on your show because I'm really going to put it to you. I'm really going to tell you who you are, what you are, and why you are what you are. You are not shit. You talk shit because you know you ain't shit. You ain't shit because you know you talk shit. That's it. There's nothing special about you and your so-called whiteness and you being an American. I gotta wait on you. Yeah, fuck you. Period. End of that discussion. Nothing more. So, with all of that being said, I really want to, you know, bring up again, my book, The White Man's Burden of Lies and Deceit, which is available on Amazon for about $17, $18, one and two. And book one deals with why people hate black people so much, and where does this hate come from? Person A doesn't wake up hating person B for no reason. It's what black people did to so-called white people or albino or European people a long time ago. White people have a certain fear from Mexicans or Chinese or Japanese people. But there was this, I don't know, this deep-rooted fear that white people have of black people. And they know what happened, basically, or indirectly or directly. And this is the second book dealing with understanding white supremacy. But they know this is not some, far out left wing, right wing conspiracy or fake history. This is real. King James, King Charles, King George were black men and their wives. Queen Mary of Scott, Queen Elizabeth, you name it, Queen Charlotte. Hell, King George, the state of Georgia named after King George. Are you with me? The state of Georgia was named after a black man by the name of King George of England. And so, with all of this happening, I don't want to keep on going on and on and on and on about this. I think I've covered it very well as to, the history behind it. There's not enough time here in order to really delve into it, all of it. So I'm giving you the most important parts of the history of America and the world, and that Africa begins and ends at the four corners of the world. And with all of that being said, I really want people to understand that history determines how you walk, how you talk, what you see, what you feel, the whole nine. And when you are operating from a position of power, strength, and authority, and you are talking from a position of power, strength, and authority, you can't help but to be heard. It must be heard. You must be heard. Truth is like a lion. You don't need to dress it up and put perfume on it and make it smell good. It is what it is. And I am standing on it. I am refusing to step off of this throne of justice, of righteousness, and of truth. Like Moses in the desert, I dare to anybody to come up to me on my show, and I can be invited on their show to say something contrary to what I wrote in my book. It is all true, all of it. And so, with all of that being said, I know in the end, I'm going to be vindicated because truth always wins in the end. It is the lie that you must dress up and perfume up and put cologne on it and make it look and sound good. But truth is truth, even if no one believes it. And a lie is a lie, even if everyone believes it. And this is the situation in America and how, um, has evolved into the current state and situation. It is just a travesty that we have not been able to deal with it honestly and openly to, to rid America of this sickness, this mental disability, this mental illness of whiteness that has devastated our country, all in the name of greed, all in the name of manifest destiny, all in the name of white supremacy and wanting to feel superior to someone because your skin is white, knowing damn well it's not, and it is a recessive gene, which means black people, genetically speaking, are the most superior people on the face of this planet. It is becoming more and more brown. You cannot deny that. You cannot negate it. It is what it is. And, a lot of people talk about, well, there's nothing special about melanin. Check yourself with that one again because the last time I checked, melanin was going for about $400 a gram. Not an ounce, a gram. So there's 16 grams to, it's about $5,000 an ounce. That's a heck of a lot more than gold, platinum, and silver combined. Not only that, there was this black woman who died a long time ago that scientists took her cells to save the lives of a lot of white people. It led to the formation of polio and other drugs or whatever, biological chemicals that were used and produced from her cells. Her cells, her melanated cells don't die. Ain't that a bitch? Her name is Helen Lax, and her cells are called HeLa cells. So there is power in melanin, and there's power in black people. black men and women. We are the mothers and fathers of everyone, which means everybody's black. And, just to be funny about it, everybody want to be a nigga, but nobody don't want to be a nigga. Well, you do. I'm just being honest about it, straight up about it. And to be honest, there's nothing wrong with that. Black people created every civilization on the planet. Every Greek god and goddess were black. Period. Black people started the Roman and Greek civilizations. Period. We created every civilization on this planet. Period. We created every language on this planet. Period. We created every world religion and philosophy on this planet. Period. Now, when I look at my so-called white son and daughter or brother and sister, however you like to put it, I see them struggling, man. I really do. Struggling with the lie that they know they are telling and the rub that they are feeling from that, knowing they are lying. But to me, if they want to come back to the table of humanity, they can do so. I don't think it's better late than never, right? And to accept their blackness. They're not white, they're not European, they're not Aryan or Anglo-Saxon or Caucasian. Those terms are black terms, period. And so, at this point, I would say, fuck it. White people are so possessed with this demon of white supremacy, this demonic possession of white supremacy, that they cannot see the end coming, the handwriting on the wall of what their forefathers did, because it is just so deeply entrenched. This whiteness, this white superiority, this white supremacy is so entrenched in their mind that they cannot see straight. They don't know whether to piss or go blind. And, uh, you know, all closed eyes ain't sleep and every goodbye ain't gone. Justice never sleeps forever. And white people just need to pay up, period. If you don't pay up directly, you're going to pay up indirectly. And that's what's happening in Europe right now. After the killing of Gaddafi, he pointedly stated, if you kill me, white guy, white woman, you will be opening the door to your own death. We don't need suicide bombers and, the whole nine, whatever the case may be. There are 40 million Muslims that's going to flood into Europe and make it a Muslim state in a matter of 10 to 20 years. And this is what is happening throughout Europe. It is becoming a Muslim state. America is going to be a Muslim state. Canada is going to be a Muslim state. And white folks are running scared. If they ever admit it, They are scared shitless. Now, from what I've seen on Facebook, abortion is illegal. You can't abort a baby. In some states, you'll get thrown in jail. You know what that is? White people know that their numbers are falling, that they're not producing. That's the reason behind that. So I digress. You know what I mean? And we'll see where that leads to. But ultimately, white people need to understand that evil, when you participate in it, it always destroys you and itself. Always, ALWAYS, and always, ALLWAYS. Your destruction is already here. You guys are not producing. To maintain your population, you need a 2.1 birth rate. You guys' birth rate is like 0.09 to 1.2. You are dying, and Trump can't save you. Hell, Trump can save himself. He's the president. He can't deal out or trump out pardons. Yeah. Give me a fucking break. But we're going to move on, and I really want to focus in on what matters. And this is one of the articles that I thought was important to talk about, and I can just kind of like situate this a little bit better. Um, it talked about this guy in South Africa who stated that he spreaded HIV/AIDS to wipe out blacks in South Africa. An apartheid era officer admits this. And you can look up the article. It's a long article, but I'm not gonna, you know, read it to you. And I would normally take the time to do so. But at least the first sentence, he says, a former member of a South African-based mercenary group revealed in a not so shocking confession that he and the group tried to purposely infect black South Africans with HIV/AIDS in the 1980s and 90s. Now, we know about germ and bacterial warfare. We know about the Tuskegee experiment, where the United States government infected black people with syphilis and a lot of other things that went on. Uh, by law, the United States government needed to pay those people and those families posthumously through the use of the 1866 Civil Rights Act. I'm not an attorney, but I'm just going to throw that out there and let it marinate, and hopefully, someone who is an attorney can look at this and say, Isaiah, you're right. Damn, the hell, what have I been thinking? We need to really, really do that and really look at this for what it is. Um, so it's obvious there's something going on, with this, and I'm finding that pure hate is a killer. It is a vasoconstrictor. It is not worth the time to hate because it can kill you. It can cause and lead to heart attacks and strokes and early death. And I don't know if white people are seeing this or not, or feeling this or not, or knowing this or not, but it is true. And to be honest, I really don't feel that they give a shit. As long as they can say that I'm white and I'm above a nigga, that's all that matters. And as I have pointed out before, that's one of the things that Lyndon Baines Johnson said. He can look out and talk to the lowest white man, poorest white man, and he will give you his last dime out of his pocket just to stay above a nigga. Now, ain't that a bit? Were his words, literally. As long as you can make the poorest white man feel above a nigga, you can rape the shit out of his pocket. Real talk. So, uh, with all of that being said, I, um, don't know too much about that. Um, in terms of the effects of that, and you can pretty much tell what's going on and how that has impacted white people because they operating from a very very low vibrational uh, uh, thought that they can't see their head from their asses or determine the difference between their head and their ass because they're under the spell. They are under this demonic possession of white supremacy or wanted to be supreme or superior. And they don't want to let it go. Um, but that's another thing. I'm not bashing that, but I am against it. And people just need to wake up. And white people in general just need to wake up. So now this is the other one. I don't know what the heck is going on, why it's not really showing the way that it should be showing. But the article deals with a couple adopted two black daughters to kill them. We beat them to death in the name of God. Now, you can find this on, Google. You don't have to. I don't believe I have to read it to you. But this is the couple, and I guess I don't know how long it is, but let me see how it plays out, and to see if it plays out. Hopefully it plays. So it's 6 minutes long, and it's devastating. This is the horror of religion and how it just controls people and gets them to think crazy thoughts and to be dismissive of other people's humanity. So it's 6 minutes long, so we're going to play it.
About parents who beat their child to death in the name of God. They believe the Bible requires them to spank their kids with items like belts and rods in order to train them to be well-behaved, happy kids. These parents appear to have been following the teachings of a Christian parenting book called To Train Up a Child, a book that is growing in popularity around the world. Harry Tuckman tonight has the first of our two-part special report.
The small town of Paradise, California, where these children lived with their parents in a fundamentalist Christian home. For the 9 children, life in paradise was anything but. We cover up 8 of their faces because they are the survivors. Survivors of a violent form of discipline practiced by their parents, Kevin and Elizabeth Schatz. The one face not covered is their 7-year-old adopted daughter, Lydia. She was killed by her parents. Mike Ramsey is the district attorney of Butte County in Northern California.
We've heard of, the phrase death by 1,000 lashes. That's basically what this was.
This is where the family used to live. The children's sandbox is still here. So is their slide and their treehouse. But the surviving children are now in foster homes, and the parents are in prison.
Violated Section 273A, parentheses B.
They pleaded guilty to killing Lydia and seriously injuring her 11-year-old sister, Zariah, who almost died. Authorities say Kevin and Elizabeth Schatz beat their children regularly because they believed God wanted them to. The district attorney says the Schatz believed
To spare the rod will spoil the child, and if you can train your horse and you can train your dog, you can train your children.
7-year-old Lydia suffered terribly, supposedly in the name of God. But authorities say this was torture and murder by parents who were supposed to love and cherish their child. Inside this house, they found important evidence. The so-called biblical rods the Schatz had inside. What they were 15-inch long plumbing supply tubes used to beat the children. And also important, a book was found inside. A book that appeared to light the fuse to the deadly brutality. The book is called To Train Up a Child. Its author is this man on the tractor, Michael Pearl, and his wife Debbie. They consider themselves observant Christians who run an organization called No Greater Joy Ministries from their Tennessee farm.
Well, I'm a preacher, minister of the gospel.
Their book and others they've written stacked in a warehouse on their farm. All of them guided, they say, by the teachings in the Bible.
And it says that if you spare the rod, you hate your child. But if you love him, you chasten him timely.
A rod, according to the Pearl's Manual on Training Children, can be anything from a tree switch to a spatula. In the book, they describe a rod as a magic wand. God would not have commanded parents to use the rod if it were not good for the child. The Pearls say parents should stay in control and not act in extreme. But they also declare any spanking to effectively reinforce instruction must cause pain.
Let's say a 7-year-old slugs his sister. A 7-year-old would get her 10 or 15 licks, and it would be a formal thing. In other words, you maintain your patient air. You explain to him that what he's done is violent and that that's not acceptable in society and it's not acceptable in our home. Then I would take him somewhere like into his bedroom, and I would tell him I'm going to give him 15 licks.
With what?
Probably a belt. A kid that big, a boy, I'd probably use a belt. It'd be handy. I might use a wooden spoon or a piece of plumbing supply line, 1/4 inch in diameter, flexible enough to roll up.
See, what I'm saying here is, why not just use your hand instead of all these materials?
Hey, look here, right here. Let me show you something. Does that hurt?
Doesn't feel good.
But look what it's doing. Look what it's doing to your whole body. See your hip? You don't use your hand on somebody. That's a karate
But
job.
you're telling me that when you use this material that it can't cause permanent pain?
The skin.
My children never had marks left on them.
But look at the body of Zariah, the daughter who was seriously injured by her parents. These are just some of her wounds. Other wounds and bruises on her body, and on the body of her sister Lydia, who died, are far too graphic for us to show. Lydia was so severely beaten she died of a condition usually associated with earthquakes and bombings. What do you think influenced the Schatzes to beat, terrorize, and torment the children?
The book by Mr. Pearl. There's no doubt about that.
Lydia was beaten for 7 continuous hours, interrupted by short prayer breaks on the day she died. The sound of the police siren was recorded by a Paradise police officer racing to the house. When he arrived, he tried to save Lydia with CPR, with both of the parents present.
She's swallowed a lot of water.
What was going on? She was like really tired, and her vision was blurry. Come on, baby.
And listen later in the day to the seriously injured Zariah.
I believe it's pain. It's just on your arm.
Oh my God, I mean, on my back last night. Underneath my feet.
Underneath your feet. Sorry, I'd have to take you to the hospital.
I probably need to be with hot because I might throw up again.
At the sentencing hearing, 11-year-old Zariah, who was still recovering from her serious injuries, had the courage to address her parents in open court about her deceased sister. She said, "Why did you adopt her? To kill her?" It's a heartbreaking story. Kevin pleaded guilty to murder and torture and will be in jail for at least 22 years, and Elizabeth for at least 12. Do you think if the Schatzes did not read the Pearl's book, there'd be a good chance that Lydia is still alive?
I would think that there would be.
We reviewed the case, and we tried to find out what happened to see if there was going to be any blame pointed at us. So we looked into it.
Wow. Well, you heard it here. You know what it's about. And it's sad, to say the least. And this is a systemic problem in America, that people are not seeing the godliness within other people, whether it be adults or children. And so they take it to the extreme. And, you know, Christianity did not become the world religion it is through peaceful means. It has killed hundreds of millions of people through from its inception until now. And so has Islam. And due to noise, you know, I'm here in the Dominican Republic, so I'm recording it. So you're going to hear some noise of people going by or talking. But, you know, it is what it is. So I'm doing this from my kitchen table. And, you know, we're just recording right now. But, yeah, it's just heartbreaking to see this happen. And I don't see any indication of racial implication. But definitely none of her white kids suffered any of that death and destruction. And, you know, perhaps I beg to differ. So, you know, maybe they looked at these 2 black girls to be just expendable nickels and dimes. I have no idea. But, you know, it's sad to say the least. But we're going to move on, and we're going to really concentrate on something more positive. I mean, I saw this story on Facebook, and I was just touched by it. And there were a couple of stories, but we're going to look at this guy who should get the Father of the Year award. And to make a long story short, his son was born premature, and somehow, in some way, he was able to save him. And you know, his wife abandoned them and her son, but now wants to come back because now the son is healthy. And so the idea of black guys being the worst dads in the world, the worst dads in America is not true. We take the championship trophy on each and every instance of that, and I did point that out as well. Um, but this story is so matter of fact, so touching, born premature. I'm just gonna read it because I really want you guys to feel what it's saying. When my wife gave birth, I was at work. The doctor who was following my wife during her pregnancy called me to tell me to come to the hospital urgently. When I excuse me, y'all know what it continued. When I arrived, I saw the child. It was as if I had been hit with a log of wood on the neck. I had a headache. I sat down, and the doctor told me that my wife had left. When she saw the child, she did not support, so she left despite her condition. She said that it is not her child, and she left in tears. In a word, she left the child in the hospital. The doctor asked me what I wanted for the child. My answer did not take 1 second. In less than a second, without hesitation, I replied that I would take care of the child. At a small supermarket, I sold a whole supermarket to stay with the child, to take care of him day and night. All my savings and the check from the supermarket I invested in caring for the premature baby. I gave him my heart, I gave him my patience, my love, and my savings. I took care of him myself without the help of anyone except the doctor, without hiring a nanny to keep him. I devoted 1 year of my life without working, without moving away from him. We lived on my savings. Until today, my little premature became a beautiful little boy. He became cute and he grew up well fattened. This is where his mother wants. No, it's just this is where his mother wants to come back to take care of her abandoned child. She came to ask for forgiveness on her knees. She only cries when she sees how the child had changed. I understood her, and I forgave her mistake, even if she acted badly. I want a mother for my child or for my son. We had no more money to eat when I applied on the internet at 0 hours at 8 a.m. I was called for an indefinite contract in a factory. God knows how to do things. One tip: never give up a child for anything in the world. Ain't that some shit? So you never know how life is going to push you, move you, and have you in such a way that you don't know whether to shit or go blind. But I challenge anyone that if you just stay with it and do the right thing, right will follow you throughout all the days of your life, and that you can overcome it, and you will overcome it, and you must overcome it, and especially an innocent child. Give me a break. But I don't know if I would have accepted her back. I would have been like, no, thank you, but we'll take whatever support that you are likely to get. But that's a whole other thing. Um, but you have to keep moving. You have to keep moving forward. I don't care if you move an inch or a mile or 10,000 miles. Just never give up. So before I go, I found this impression to be really good. I think you guys are going to like it as well. So we got a few more minutes left before the hour is up. If we go over that, that's cool. But I found this impression of this guy was just on point. So I just really wanted to play it. So let's play it and see what happens. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, ABC, 1, 2, 3, CBS, NBC, MSNBC. Song good, baby, baby. Oh,
Dr. Ray, Eminem.
Shout out Eric Spears. We got the old school rap, family coming with your face. Down to the chin, the brains over with the brains. Picking it old school, listen old fools. Strap with gas, sipping gas, to talk to it.
Got the swift from the doctor, the sip for that juice and gin. LBC, content on the map again. Baby girl, where's your friend? I do your old doggy style, then we do it again.
Jump, you stop the hip hop dog, Chris Wallace, rhymes is flawless. In the club, ladies brawlers. Strapping gas, cause my dudes is lawless. So we murdered the Germans, so they would drop all the charges. Gucci pink suits in church on a Sunday. Fly to my run, fuck a bitch off the runway. Champagne on the airplane, Eminem on the verse, yeah, we stand safe.
I'ma take you back to 99. I just raped him in the vodka. Damn it, ride with alien type. Double suicide, homicide, Bonnie and Clyde. Never met a mind as evil as mine. As I designed this rhyme in 2 times the world to murder your girl at the same time. In the middle of the daytime. Duct tape, be found on the hand side. I swore I wouldn't do it again. I lied. Eminem. 2018. Yeah.
It's all good, baby, 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 baby.
Now I'm impressed with what he got. I know it's not part of the show. I just had to just play that because this guy was just really good. But yeah. So let's keep it moving, and we're gonna get into the latter part of what it's about. And hold on for a second. I want to make sure that I did cover all what I wanted to cover. All right, yeah. So we're gonna move on. We got about 10 minutes to the hour for this hour, and sometimes it lasts an hour, sometimes it lasts an hour and a half, 15 minutes, whatever it is. But listen, here, check this out. Reason why blacks drop out of school. Jesus was a white man, the ancient Egyptians were white, the Israelites were white, the last Mohican was white, the last samurai was white, so white man is Superman, Batman, nobody except they have to be a white man. King Arthur was white, King James was a white man, Shakespeare was a white man, Mozart was a white man, and 100 years from now, we're going to say, Michael Jackson was white. But you know what? All these people were black people. But this is the reason why I say knowing your history is so important. And white people are suffering from delusions of grandeur. It is a mental illness that they have the gumption and the nerve to still out here to turn around and say, we ain't shit. But I digress. And again, 100 years from now, 200 years from now, if America's still in existence, they're going to say Obama was white. And it says here, if Obama were white, his place of birth, patriotism, and Christianity would never have come into question. He would have easily beat Mr. 47, Mitt Romney, by double digits. His wife's guest appearances on TV would be completely uncontroversial. And everyone in politics and in the media would now be celebrating the Obama recovery. Ain't that the truth? And this is so pertinent. I mean, it may not sound like a bit, but it is. Nobody knows when the last goodbye is going to happen. And, again, life in America and around the world is so precious. And America has so much blood on its hands from killing innocent men, women, and children that it amazes me that we have not ended our supremacy in world politics and economics. But it's coming. I've heard about the fall of the eagle and all of this other stuff. So we'll see how it gets played out. But America just needs to stop a blood-curdling murder rate around the world. And there's no one that is attacking America. How in the fuck did our liberty get over there in Syria and Iraq? Why are we fucking there? Is it because of the central bank that they don't have any central banks? That could be it. Have you ever thought about that? And how in the hell did Muslims or whatever the case may be tear down or knock down the Twin Towers? That was an inside job. Period. Conspiracy. Straight up and down, inside and out. Conspiracy. And the fact that $21 trillion came up missing out of the Pentagon. Somehow that is now being talked about. And $21 trillion, that's on the way of reparation for black people in America. Period. I mean, I think the amount of money that's owed is well over 200 trillion. You know, you're not talking about just giving the land back west of Appalachia, including the Hawaiian Islands, but also the mineral rights and everything that was taken off of it. So it could be well over 300 trillion in today's money. And this one, Dad, I'm considering a career in organized crime. And Dad said, government or private sector? It might sound like it doesn't, belong, but it does. Crime is so rampant within the American schematic that it's just utterly ridiculous. Pedophilia is running wild throughout corporate America and the corridors of power and politics in Washington. And Pizzagate is real. Pizzagate is real, guys. And I believe from the bottom up, America and Americans must strike back. This must become a people's revolution. We must become unhypnotized by all of this apathetic way of thinking and doing. And if we really want a change, if we really want to make America better for the greater good to summon bonum and the current generation and all future generations, then we're just going to have to really step up and own up to what happened and what what went on. Period. And now I can't remember the white woman who was running for president stated, but she admitted to redlining and all this other stuff that was going on that was illegally done under the color of law, under the I'm white and I say so law, which has no force and in effect. Period. It was done, all of it was done under color of law. It looked like it's illegal. Gee, wow. But it isn't. They're hoodwinking and blowing smoke up our asses. White acid, black acid, Asian acid, brown acid, doesn't even matter. And we must use the 1866 Civil Rights Act to eliminate and wipe all of that out and to pay up, period. Now, a lot of people heard about the knockout game. Ain't nobody better than white folks in the knockout game. You guys started that shit, and it is what it is. It doesn't matter if black people dress up with suits and or dragging their asses, they're dragging their jeans around their ankles. It just doesn't. You guys started the knockout game, and you guys are the masters of the game, and it is what it is. All great truth begins as blasphemy. Now I don't know if my book is seen as blasphemy, but if it is, that's cool. Because I know in the end it will be vindicated. Truth always wins over a lie. So thank you for that, George Bernard Shaw. And we're going to see what happens with the book. All right. Well, I talked about this as well, and how important it is for the movement to be from the bottom up. Iceland did it. So can we. Bankers, jail, politicians replaced, no shots fired. In 2008, citizens forced the resignation of both the private minister and the effective government. 2010, the prime minister was indicted. Over 200 criminal charges were filed against the against the bankers, and all of the former CEOs of the biggest banks were arrested. Others were forced to leave the country. 2010, an assembly is elected to write a new constitution to avoid entrapment of debt. 25 citizens are chosen with no political affiliation. The only qualification for candidacy or adulthood in the support of 30 people. 2010, the main bank of Iceland was nationalized. In 2010, the new government forgave debt exceeding 110% of home value. Now, this is possible. If Iceland can do it, so can every other country who has a central bank that has been owned and ran by the Rothschild or whoever else. We can do it. And we must do it. Because to be honest, the banks don't have any money to lend out. They're lending out phantom money. That's it. There are books on it that explains it, and my book goes into it as well. Um, but we're gonna let that sit here for a minute or two, or for a second or two, and then you guys look at this. If Iceland can do it, so can we. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This guy named Henry Timrod. Now, to wrap it up, I really want you guys to understand that white supremacy is all based on fiction. Fiction of whiteness. They're not white, they're not European, they're not Caucasian, the whole nine. Now, this guy, he was the poet laureate of the Confederacy in North Carolina, a well-known, well-respected poet during the, Confederacy period. His name is Henry Timrod. Now, a lot of you might say, well, yeah, he was a white guy, blah, 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 North Carolina. Yeah, I know him. But do you know the guy was black? He wasn't white. He was black. And this is the idiocy of white supremacy. There were black people who were considered white people who were considered black. They were never, ever a gone with the wind kind of situation. Hell, Mae West was a black woman. And she laughed and laughed and laughed her ass off when she came back to the black community saying how stupid white people were. Babe Ruth was a black guy. And the guy that starred in Gone with the Wind, the tall, dark, and handsome guy, his name escaped me, you know what I'm talking about. He was a black guy. Period. So there are a lot of black people who passed for white who went on to do a lot of great things and became filthy rich and passed on their money to so-called white society, or whatever the case may be. But, this whole thing about race is really tearing asunder America. And it just needs to stop. And I'm hoping and I'm praying that what I am talking about resonate with people. But first and foremost, you cannot look past race until you deal with it. There's no if, there's no ands, there's no buts. You can't shift from foot to foot and side to side and pussyfoot with it. You just cannot. You have to deal with it straight up and down, inside and out, and tell the truth that white people are black people, that they come from albino, Dravidian albinos out of India, and what happened in the Asian steppes to them, that black people were mistreating them, and that they broke past the Persian Wall, that they broke into our Eastern and Western Holy empires and pushed our black papacy into France, and that led to a whole another episode of history that led to the French Revolution, the 30 Years' War, the 100 Years' War, whole line. And then serfdom became the feudalistic system that King James brought over to the United States and brought the white serf or feudal system to the Americas, the 13 colonies that became the 13 states. And King George told the settlers after getting the French and the Spanish off their back that do not go beyond the Appalachian Mountains, messing with and taking the land of the indigenous black people who were already there. Because we all know that the indigenous Indians were black people whose name was changed to black or to Negro by Plecker. And so all of that is explained in my book, and I don't need to really get into the greater details about that. But look, listen, we're going to wrap it up. This is an hour, and this is your host, Isaiah Israel, of the WMB show. And I'm going to be looking forward, matter of fact, of having our first guest on the show. I'm going to keep that a secret out to who that is, and the whole nine. But again, take a look at the bottom scrolling words here. That please do not forget to subscribe to the channel, the WMB Show, and the channel's name is WMB of Lies and Deceit. And thank you for watching. And also hit that bell so you can get notification of when the next show will, be. It's always at 8 o'clock. So, but we can't stream as of yet. I'm gonna try to get that resolved as quickly as possible. And as soon as we stop recording, I'm gonna put this up on YouTube so it can be seen. And again, thank you for watching. And don't forget to check out our blog, the whitemansburden.blog. And peace and great things, and always stay positive, always stay moving forward, and always, always, always stay black. Peace and great things, and hopefully this outro will work. If it don't, I will play it. I will play it again. I don't know. Let's see how it works. Oh, wow, it worked without buffering. Well, I'll be damned. I'm getting used to this, guys. But from here on out, we're gonna really improve the show and have a really fantastic time just to be able to speak truth to power. And I want all of the white people, all of the Asian people, all of the brown people, all of the black people to know that we must effect a change in America. It's not going to happen by praying to Jesus, Buddha, Allah, or Krishna, or even dropping to our knees and marching. We have to hit them where they matter, in their pockets. The politicians work for us, we don't work for them. It is our nation, and it is our time, and it is our responsibility to make a change and to make a difference. Peace and good things.